Everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the She Rises Studios Women's Entrepreneur Workshop. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Crystal Renee. You'll hear more from me later, but enough about me. Today, we're going to be diving into different topics that will help women start a new business and or grow their existing business. So get excited. We've got some amazing speakers today. They're going to be dropping some gems. So I hope you have your pens and your pencils and your notepads ready to take notes because you're not going to want to miss a single piece of these presentations, guys. Seriously. Um, One thing that I've learned from one of my mentors is that note takers are money makers. So make sure you're paying attention today and picking up what these ladies are putting down. We have a wide variety of topics ranging from the entrepreneurial ecosystem to staying connected in your marriage while you're building an empire, to the entrepreneurial mindset, to building an aligned business, and so much more. So I'm extremely excited and I can't wait to hear from each and every speaker. And I know you are too. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the first speaker. Our first speaker is Annabelle Beckwith. Her topic is building an aligned business. Annabelle Beckwith has been a business consultant, coach, and trainer for over 20 years, working with entrepreneurs and business owners, subject matter experts, and Fortune 100 companies all over the world. She specializes in working with people as human beings first, building individual clarity, confidence, and capability before working on their business goals and aspirations in both a strategic and a practical way. Her career also included work in daytime TV production, in PR and marketing, and as a head of development and public affairs at the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama. She's a best-selling author of Get Your P's in a Row: 5 Key Factors to Propel Your Business Forward, which focuses on key principles for personal and entrepreneurial growth. And she's a co-author of Dream Big, Do Bigger, and Women Disruptors in Business. Annabelle is a proud mother of 22 somethings, lives in Scotland, and works internationally. Without further ado, Annabelle.
Hello, thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Crystal, and I'm delighted and honoured indeed to be kicking the proceedings off here in this summit. What I would like to talk about is building an aligned business. Now, the first question that probably comes to mind when I say an aligned business is, well, aligned with what? And by that, I mean aligned with who you are as a human being, and who you want to become as you lead your business, and also what you want, not just what you want from your business, but what you want out of life. The reason for focusing on this whole area of alignment with who you are is because I work with many entrepreneurs who seem to have accidentally traded their 9 to 5 for somebody else for 24/7 in their own business, and they run the risk of burnout. That's obviously something that we want to avoid. So I'm going to talk through 5-step framework. It's based on my book, Get Your P's in a Row: 5 Key Factors to Propel Your Business Forward. And those 5 factors for building an aligned business are personal, purpose, people, process, and paradigms. The 5 P's. You see what I did there. Now, the thing is, if we start with the personal, or maybe even we start a little bit before that, oftentimes when people are starting a business, they will do so around reasons of passion, problem, or profit. They're starting a business because they're passionate about something. They are passionate about aromatherapy and herbalism, and so that's the basis for their business. They're wonderful at crafting, or they've always had a knack for people and helping people, and they want to move into coaching and so forth. There's a passion that they will follow, and that's the basis of their business. Sometimes, of course, people will identify a problem and think, I can think of something to fix that problem. And that might be a service-based industry where you're doing something for your clients that other people can't do or don't want to do, or maybe you've designed a product that is going to help somebody to do something that was hitherto difficult. And then, of course, that third category is people who are just looking for the profit, and that might be somebody who's selling on Amazon or on an online a portal of some sort where they might just be looking at what the trends are for the latest thing. It might be fidget spinners, it might be loom bands, all of these things that we've seen come and go. They'll jump on that bandwagon, make their profit, and then move on to the next thing. So there's no rights or wrongs, of course, about any of this, but at some stage, you're going to be building a business that is aligned with you in some shape or form. Even if people are building a business that's purely about making a profit, that revenue generation is going to be feeding some sort of purpose, some sort of niche, some sort of need, some sort of aspiration in their life. So the first place to start in building an aligned business is to really, really focus on the personal. So even if you've been in business for a while now, this is worthwhile pausing and reflecting on. And if you're just starting out, or you're thinking of starting a business, then now's the time to start thinking about this. It's never too soon. Place your business idea or your business aside for a moment and think about you as a human being, and think really carefully about what are your values. What do you stand for? Who are you? Who do you want to become as a human being in terms of personal development and growth, as a business leader, and as a contributor to society? What sort of things motivate you? What sort of situations motivate you? Working as part of a team on something, or tackling a problem alone? It's really worthwhile to do a lot of self-reflection about who you are and where you best serve, and how you best operate as a human being, aside from the business leadership, because of course those two things will dovetail. The factors that are important to you will impact what happens in the business, and how you operate, how you perform, and how happy you are within your own business. So what motivates you? Do some personality profilers. Look at what they're saying to you. Are you somebody who's driven by results? Are you somebody who's driven by the people side and the harmony of bringing a team together? Are you somebody who's driven by some bigger vision? Really, really get to know yourself. And fundamentally, think really carefully about what you want. Now, I'm just going to say that again in a different way. Think about what you want. Oftentimes we get so sidetracked with what we think we ought to want as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, or what other people think we should want, or what the expectations of society are. That's not the same question at all. What do you want? What do you want for yourself? And what do you want for your family? Pardon me. The other thing is to consider what you're prepared to do for your business and what you're not prepared to do for your business. Quite often, and this actually really annoys me, I hear people saying to start out entrepreneurs that, well, you've got to sacrifice things for your business, sacrifice your weekends, and relationships might suffer. It's the whole hustle and grind culture, excuse me. And that's just absolute nonsense. Yes, of course, there's going to be certain things that we sacrifice for our businesses. But as the business founder, you get to choose what those things are. And your health, your sanity, your family, your values do not have to be things that you throw under the bus for your business. Think really carefully about yourself as a human being and what you want your business to actually do for you. Now, the second thing to consider in this 5P framework is your purpose. And here I'm thinking about your business purpose. So having identified what drives you, what is now driving your business? Whom do you serve? To what end? What value do you bring? Now, quite often I'll hear people saying, well, start with your business plan. And I would say, no, please, goodness me, don't start with your business plan. Start with you as a human being, and start with the broader purpose of your business. Because those really long-term aspirations, the purpose, the vision, the mission, these are the things that will underpin your strategy, your short to mid-term strategy. Do beg your pardon. Thank goodness for tea. Hey, it's the panacea for all ills. But think about these longer term aspirations first and foremost. And then your strategy will come from those. And of course, make sure that your purpose is something that is in alignment with what your overall life goals are. Now, the third of the P's is people. And obviously enough, when you start out, it's just you. It's just you as the entrepreneur, and you're trying to do everything. And there, it's going to be really important to make sure that you've got supportive people about you, friends, family, but also beyond that, people who you can look to for advice, for mentorship. Um, who would be on your imaginary board, for example? And even as you progress through your business life, it's useful thinking, well, who would I have on my imaginary board? Who can I go to for advice? Who will provide that sounding board, and to look for expertise. Now, it might be comfortable to go to your mum or your dad or your brother or something. And that's great. But also bear in mind, do they have the expertise to be able to advise you really? Look to your network for mentors, look to your mentors, to your network for help and support on the people side. And then, of course, as you build your business, more tea. I've been fine all day. It's one of those things, isn't it? As you grow your business, you're going to need to get the right people within your business. And there, it's going to be really important that you're crystal clear on your values, your personal values, and the values you want your business to hold, because you're going to need to bring people into your business who not only are capable for the role, but who are also aligned with your business values and your purpose. That kind of whole right fit thing is really important as you're growing your team. So be aware of that as well. As you're growing your team, you're looking for people who have the capability to fulfill their roles, but they also are in line with your values. Now, the fourth of the 5 Ps is process. And it's an interesting one because quite often people think of process as something that's a bit abstract, something that's a bit robotic. It's automation, it's systems, and to some respects, yes, that is true. But remember also that it's really important to have processes and systems and methodologies for people related things within your business, for communications, for example, and for performance management when you have a team. And actually, as soon as you start to grow your business, as soon as you get into the mindset of having processes for the human side of your business, the better, frankly, because when it's just you and you're communicating with suppliers and so on, that's fine. But what's the sort of template that you would want to follow? What's the sort of thing that you would want other people and your team to be doing in terms of the way in which they communicate? How are you going to be communicating with other people within your team and so forth? So bear in mind, and this is where we start to build up that alignment thing, that your processes are supporting your people to deliver your business purpose, which in turn is feeding your personal aspirations. And the fifth of those 5 Ps is paradigms. What is the culture that you are consciously creating within your business? Now, a culture can be consciously created. There's steps to be taken, and steps that must be taken, because sometimes if you leave it to chance, or you think it's going to happen by accident, you wind up 2 or 3 years down the line thinking, how did I get here? Worse still, if it's not you setting the cultural tone, it's probably going to be the loudest person in your business. That might not be a good thing. So what is the culture that you are creating within your business? And it's really important that that is a values-based culture based on your values and the values that your business holds. So that is a 5-step process on how to build an aligned business. Do your paradigms and your culture support your processes and your people to deliver on your purpose that fulfills your personal aspirations? 5 Ps to build an aligned business. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Annabelle. That was so enlightening. I definitely took some notes here because I've been in business for quite a while. So I was like, okay, passion, problem, profit, personal purpose. I'm like, okay, I think these are all things that, whether you're new to business or whether you are, you know, growing up in your business or you're a seasoned business owner, I think these are all things to take into consideration. And I love that you actually are like, highlighting the hustle culture and how that's not really a good thing. Like that's not a good thing.
It's not sustainable. Short bursts, fine. As a lifestyle, who the heck wants that?
Exactly. Well, thank you so much,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you so much.
Yes, guys, make sure that you guys drop stuff in the comments for Annabelle if you have any questions. We want to keep the discussion rolling, and I know Annabelle's going to be watching those. I'm sure she'll respond if you guys have any questions for her. But we're going to go ahead and keep this thing rolling, guys. Next up, we have Denise Oster. Her topic is Mystical Moments Matter. Denise Oster is a magnetic force of spirited energy. Her tremendous ambition created a new dimension to her brilliance and beliefs. She values the magical vibration and unlimited potential we are born with. Her bold, sassy, yet charismatic approach to life and exuberant personality is now how she impacts others. Denise has helped hundreds of clients expand their brilliance and open their heart to unlimited success. Her experience and heart centered approach transformed into an inner flame that cannot be dimmed. Her energy shifts your perspective and lights you on fire. As an international best-selling author, speaker, multipreneur in real estate, investments, and coaching, she can help you unlock your dreams. If that wasn't enough, she has expected the honor position as a She Rises Studio Leadership Community Team Leader. Her purpose to serve has you doing the work, the hard work, and not the hard work. Welcome, Denise, to the stage. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So excited to share all this valuable content and listen to the amazing speakers today that have so much to offer women. So, if you are a woman entrepreneur or seeking to venture out in that field, mystical, magical moments are the ones that matter the most. And I want to share with you 5 of my sassy skill sets that are going to get you there and are going to light you on fire. So, one of my true gifts, and it was over years of discovering it, is my magnetic superpower, and my mystical moments matter because it's my energy that I bring to my clients and into my business. And I want to share that with you so you guys can tap into these too. The first off is self-talk. I use acronyms in my book, of the best-selling book, Inhale Abundance, Exhale Bullshit. You can see it there in the back. It is one of my favorite things to just let everybody know. If you grab a hold of these 5 sassy skill sets, these mystical, magical moments will appear in your life, and you will be able to reflect on them and feel all the energy that comes from it and where it brings you and the doors that it will open. So the first off is self-talk. Self-talk is the acronym that I use for stop every little fabricated thought and leverage your kindness. Kindness is a feeling that everybody wants to have. And why are we doing the things that we are in our life? The end result is for a feeling. We say we want more money, we want a bigger house, we want a different car, we want luxury things. That's the byproduct of the feeling that we want to have. So when we stop every little fabricated thought and leverage this kindness within ourselves, with our monkey mind and our thoughts, we are able to have more of these mystical moments because it brings the softness to ourselves and allows us to see what we are really capable of and what you're giving off to other people. So sometimes we'll be thinking, wow, I don't look good in this, or I don't know what to say, or I can't do this. These are all little stinking thinking thoughts that are really not serving us well. So, how can we use the self talk to our advantage? We have choices in life, right? So, if we're not speaking the kindness to ourselves, then we're not doing ourselves any justice. So, the way we speak to maybe our mother, our best friend, sometimes is very different. We have to stop and be cognizant of that to make sure that we're leveraging that kindness that we're giving to other people to leverage for ourselves. And when we become softer in this, we understand that there is greatness within us. And maybe there are some unhappy times that had happened in our life, but it doesn't mean that we need to continue to beat ourselves up. So that brings me to the second skill set of being the author of your own life. Everybody has a story, and most people will tell you that they don't have a story that anyone wants to hear. And as a coach, a no BS coach, I'm here to tell you that you are so wrong. Everybody needs to rewrite their story because the second skill set is author. Accept the unhappy times helps one recover. Now, we don't want to live in the past, But we really want to focus on the learning lessons that the past has brought us. So when we accept those and really accept who we are internally and know we're human, we have faults. I myself, every single day, have things that I trip myself up on. And I have to reset myself to say, guess what? I am human. I make mistakes. But these unhappy times and these mistakes in my life can bring me opportunities and open doors that I had never thought of. And they might just be that mystical moment that you'd never dreamed of because of what happened in the past and the experience that brought you the greatness to be brought out and shared with humanity. And with that, it also lifts us up and brings us more energy to know, hey, you know what? If she can do it, I can do it. If we can get through this and see the opportunity that it presents, then we are one step ahead of someone else who's going to continue to beat us up. So it brings us to my third skill set, which is SAVAGE. And that acronym stands for Shift a Vibe and Gain Energy. One of the greatest things that people say about me, and it's just a true heartfelt compliment, is they say, I love your energy. You know what? She just lights me up. Well, the true fact is that you might meet me where I'm at my energy, but when you come in to work with me, you come to my energy. And that's the vibe that we want to gain. So we have the energy to know that someone has always got our back. Someone's always there to lift us up when we fall. Someone else is going to pick us up and push us to greatness, because that energy that you have shows that you are in alignment for the greater gifts that you have inside of you, that you want to go and grow to a bigger moment. And when you have those and feel in alignment, you will feel your energy shift. And that's where those mystical, magical moments appear. It's like taking a 1 millimeter movement to push you towards your greatness, because it's a journey. We are going to fall. We are going to fail. But what are we going to do with it? Are we going to face fear and rise? Or are we going to face fear and let us have a hold of us? It's the energy that you bring to every situation. And, you know, I have a pleasure principle model that I live by within this SAVAGE acronym. And that is, my pleasure principle is, if it doesn't feel good, I'm not doing it. And that I stand by. I swear by it. I pledge by it, because that in itself will shift a vibe and gain energy, knowing that you are holding true to your word. And when you do that, it brings me to my fourth acronym, which is SWAG. Swag is self-worth and greatness. When you align your energy and you have that alignment that feels good, alignment is an emotion. You will understand your worth and greatness so much you will feel it, not externally, but internally. And when you feel it internally, it's just that sense of knowing. When you believe in yourself so much, it's a sense of knowing. It is like this mystical moment that just comes into you going, you know what? I do have that. Everything is always working out for me, and it is just going to be fine, because no matter what happens, I will have a learning lesson from this. And that learning lesson will bring me that mystical, magical moment by just taking 1 millimeter movement to see that you are on your way to greatness. And your greatness will shine by knowing your worth. And when you do that, it will show you that you will not only know your worth, but then you will add tax. And that leads me to my fifth acronym, which is you. Know your own greatness. You is YOU, your own greatness. Are you aware of your gifts? Have you utilized all the gifts that you were born with? It is your birthright to share those. Share those with humanity and watch what unfolds. Watch the mystical moments happen. I know that might be hard because you might not know some of your gifts. I have an intuitive sense of feeling. I'm a heart-centered coach. I feel these from people and can see what they don't see. It's kind of like standing in the mirror and you can see yourself 2 inches away and you think that, oh, maybe they can see that zit on my face, or maybe they can see that wrinkle coming through. But 6 feet away, someone talking to you, they don't even have a clue it's there. The problem is that your own uniqueness, you're too close up in it. You're too close up in it. But when you let your guard down and know that your own uniqueness resides in you, when you can be softer to yourself, when you can stop resisting and get out of your own way, these mystical, magical moments will appear. And they are so wonderful when you can sit and revel in them and feel them and know, wow, I did that. Wow, I am so proud of myself that I took the chance, that I thought I would fail, but it worked. It turned out. And just having the courage to take that step and take a risk and be bold will lead you to success. I hope you've enjoyed these 5 sassy skill sets. If you want to know more about me or my coaching, look me up at denisehestercoaching.com. And you know what? Make every mystical, magical moment count, because you are worthy and have tremendous greatness to share with humanity. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Denise, for sharing that. Definitely, I wrote down a lot of stuff. I think the first thing I wrote down was stop every fabricated thought, because I was like, that's like a gem within itself. And I think, especially when it comes to like social comparison and like how we're seeing ourselves as it relates to others and where we are, and having that feeling like, how come I'm not here, or why haven't I achieved that yet? And I think that's a really powerful statement. The other I wrote down was your own greatness, and I think that's super important, because you're so right. People will say, I don't have any talents, or I'm not that good, but realistically speaking, everybody's unique, and I love how you said it's your birthright to share that with the world. So thank you so much.
Oh, you
Really
are
appreciate
so
that.
welcome.
Absolutely. Well, guys, if you guys have any questions for Denise, make sure you guys drop those into the comments and continue to connect with her and interact with all our speakers here at the Women Entrepreneurship Workshop. So we're going to go ahead and introduce our next speaker, guys. So our next speaker is Yana Yaneva. Her topic is Beyond the Basics, Leveraging Psychology Principles for Women Entrepreneurs. Yana Yaneva is a psychologist, one of the youngest members of the British Psychological Society, an Amazon bestselling author, and the founder of the first psychology subscription box for women. With over a decade of experience in the field of psychology, she specializes in helping people overcome obstacles, achieve the dreams they have, and find meaning, purpose, and balance in work and life. Whether you're struggling with stress, anxiety, or simply feeling stuck, her coaching methods will help you take control of your thoughts and emotions, understand yourself better, observe more, build empathy and resilience so you can reach your full potential. Yana is usually the ancient science. She's using the ancient science of psychology and philosophy to unlock the unknown, and alongside a holistic and evidence based approach to help you achieve your goals and improve your overall well being. She will help you to create a personalized action plan to make lasting changes in your life, because we are all unique and science should be the main tool to evolution and progress. Outside of her coaching career, she spends time helping people to discover their best career fit by utilizing behavior and skills. She is also a huge fan of the outdoors and loves to go fishing every time she can. You can reach out to her on Facebook or go to her personal website, pandorasoul.com. Welcome, Yana, to the stage.
Hi, thank you so much.
You're welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's an absolute honor to be speaking to you all. And following those two topics now, it can absolutely easily flow to the science of psychology. And for me, as a psychologist, I always go to the science to seek any answers to my questions. So what I'm going to be talking about is 5 main principles pulled out from cognitive and behavioral psychology, because it's not just difficult to build business, it's also difficult to build life. But when we combine the knowledge from science and our behavior, things become slightly easier. So a lot of the things that you're going to hear are very well known, very familiar, and we're going to compare the actual knowledge with the actual reality of what we do. Because even though we know that we have the knowledge, we usually pretty much do exactly the opposite. So let's start first with emotional intelligence versus emotional control. Now, very well known words. Everyone is practicing them, everyone is talking about them. But what does it mean, emotional control? That's the human ability to basically suppress and ignore any emotional state that they experience, no matter if it's good or bad. So if you think about the last moment, the last time when something happened to you, you probably naturally went into a complete ignore mode because it was bad. It was a bad experience. So that's emotional control. If it's a good experience, more often than never, we're going to go and think fearful thoughts that maybe we don't deserve, we don't need, we don't want, it's not the best time at the moment. So we always aim to do the emotional control rather than emotional intelligence. And that's not just in business, but it's also in life. It's how we proceed everything. Emotional intelligence, it's the ability for every human, and especially women, to be able to analyze, observe the situation, reflect on the situation, become aware of the situation, the cause and the effect, and then overcome it in the best possible creative way. And as an example, can you remember the last time you felt stressed or overwhelmed at work or in your daily responsibilities? What did you do? Did you try to ignore it completely and proceed and crack on with your tasks and with your stuff? You probably did. And this is emotional control. What you should have done is take a breath, go for a walk, have a cup of tea. Annabelle is a huge fan of tea. Just reflect on the situation, right? Go and take a nice bubble bath. Reflect and become aware of that situation, because in the world we're living, you're going to constantly face the challenge of being outside of your emotions, of not expressing your emotions and suppressing your emotions. And this is something we have to shift, because let's be honest, women are better in business. We don't include our ego in business. We are genuinely caring about the mission and the vision and the people. And we mitigate risk much better usually. So trust your emotions, trust your intuition, and allow it to flow. Just understand it and become aware rather than suppress. Okay, let's go to the second one. Again, very well known, very well much used in society nowadays. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Now, what is fixed mindset? It's the belief that we have a set amount of skills and trends. This is what we know, this is what we've learned at school, this is what we've learned at university, college, life experience, whatever. That's it, we need to use that. That's an enormous limitation. That's not what you are and what your mindset is. This is fixed mindset. The growth mindset is the belief that every new experience, no matter good or bad, is going to change, transform, and challenge you. It's going to change your entire mindset. It's going to change your entire behavior. And that's going to reflect in everything you do in business and in life. It will either ruin your communications or it will improve your communications. It will ruin your belief about the mission and the vision of your business, or will improve them, because you have the flexible and growth mindset, knowing that whatever comes your way, it's absolutely normal and expected. And you can learn and you can adapt and you can change and you can grow of that. That's the difference between growth mindset and fixed mindset. And I'm pretty sure that more often you are seeing the fixed mindset. It's the perception of every person you probably meet that those are your skills based on CV or previous experience in jobs or previous relationships, if you're looking for a new relationship, and you're narrowed down into that experience. But if you have yourself, your growth mindset, you can easily prove them wrong, basically. So always look out for that. Now, the third one is pretty much one of my favorites: authenticity versus fakeness. In 21st century, we live in a world where everyone and everything is demanding you to be different, to be smarter, more flexible, taller, thinner, to have a red lipstick or earrings, or to have a specific dress code, to have a specific behavior, to drink specific things, to be more agile, to be healthier, to be wealthier, to be faster, to be quicker. Everyone is demanding you to be something else. And more often, women tend to actually fake their behavior in front of mainly male-dominated environment so they can meet those expectations. That's fakeness. Authenticity is a strong belief that your mission and your vision are as much important as anyone else. So imagine the last time you went to a team building party, for example, with your company, or you went to a gathering with your community. How many times you had to agree with something, or you bit your tongue and you didn't express yourself because that will not be well accepted, because there is a set amount of expectations. So you had to fake yourself in order to meet those expectations. However, there is a really big thing that I'm pretty sure you all know, women in business, called rapport. So if you are authentic, you will dominate the whole environment and people will actually follow your lead. People will become more authentic and you can easily make people feel much more comfortable. Exactly. Embracing authenticity makes a whole lot of difference. And the next one, our fourth psychological principle, is resilient optimism versus blind optimism. Now, that sounds a bit probably confusing because optimism, resilience, blind optimism, what are we talking about? What is blind optimism? It's that unproved idea that you have in your head, a vision or an illusion that no matter what's going on, everything is going to be okay. You don't take into consideration changes. You don't pay attention to emotional state of being. You don't pay attention to conversations. You have an absolutely blunt idea that everything is going to be fine. Well, that doesn't help always. To have a positive, however, resilient, means that you acknowledge good and bad. You acknowledge changes. But no matter those changes, no matter that your awareness gives you the whole environment around you, you know that you are capable of conquering anything, basically. That makes an enormous difference, absolutely enormous, because first of all, you train your awareness. Second of all, you build much bigger emotional intelligence. Third of all, you become empathetic to everyone and everywhere. But you always know, because you believe that no matter what happens, you're going to be successful. You're going to achieve what you're looking for. And that kind of relates to an ancient philosophy called Stoicism. What they used to do 2,500 years ago is every day when they wake up with the idea that today things will go wrong. No matter things go wrong, everything is going to be fine because the sun will go down again and there will be a new dawn on the next day. So nothing was surprising for them. They were prepared and they knew that nothing is perfect. There is no such thing in the world. Well, nature, let's say. Okay, and the final principle in psychology, I must say it's one that I'm trying to live every day. And it's one of the main values in the She Rises collective leadership, and that's collaboration over competition. Very strong words, and we use them every day, but more important, we live them every day. Now, everyone knows what's competition, everyone knows what's collaboration. However, what we usually forget about is the effect of the choices we make, the effect of are you going to choose competition or are you going to choose collaboration? Competition means literally to achieve your goal, your mission, or your vision for the sake of someone else's dream and someone else's goal and vision. Now, the whole concept of doing that, it's pretty much going to set you for a failure. However, if you think about collaboration, even if you're sitting face to face with your competitor, even if they're literally breathing in your neck in regards to stealing your clients or attacking your territory, no matter in what kind of business you are, if you have a growth mindset, if you have an emotional intelligence, if you have positive resilience, you will always find a way to learn something from them, to explore them, to analyze them, to look what they're doing, to search for answers, to search for specific things that they're doing that maybe you have overseen, that you didn't pay attention, for example, but actually it's a good idea. And combined that knowledge and that expertise with your mission and your uniqueness can give you something pretty unique. If for a moment you just remove yourself from the whole competition idea, there's plenty for everyone. And everyone brings a completely different, unique set to the industry. You and I, we're not women that were going to completely overcome the industry and change the industry. We're going to make an impact in something very specific that lights up our fire and that brings an enormous passion for us and really makes our day and our purpose in life. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you managed to maybe have some notes about those principles. They're coming from psychology, but we do those, we live them every day. As long as we know what they mean and how they work, we can always adjust and we can help ourselves and people around us. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Yana. So I have lots of notes. Definitely a psychology fan. But the one thing I want to mention that I wrote down that I actually say a lot is that women are better in business than men. It's actually a fact. It's proven. There are statistics behind it. But what I love that you said was that we care about the mission and the vision, but also to trust your instincts. Women's intuition is a thing, guys. And I always say that. And I think Yana has the science to back it up and to prove it. So I just want to point that out. Definitely one of my favorite things to point out when I'm working with clients or doing any type of speaking, because I think it's just a fact. So I appreciate all that you've shared. Thank you so much. And yeah, guys, make sure you continue to interact with Yana. Drop some questions in the chat for her comments. And Yana, please drop your info so folks can connect with you guys. All right, so we're going to go ahead and keep this thing moving along, guys. Keep it moving along. Next up, we have Heather Stokes Benton. Heather is a wife, mother, homeschooler, and business owner. She's a creator, a motivator, and a developer. She does not accept the answer no. She only sees it as a challenge. Her road to success has changed many times. Life has derailed her journey, and she has built a new path each time. She went to college for forensic psychology and worked for multiple government agencies over the past 8 years. When she met her husband, he was a flight attendant and owned a limousine business. They lived a lavish life. 9/11 was their first major setback. And 3 years later, he suffered a major injury and pancreatic cancer at 40. She could have given up, but with 3 girls depending on them, that was not an option. She had to learn how to be creative with money. Now it is her mission to help others go from surviving to thriving. She shows women how to step up, step out, and realize they have control over their financial destiny. Welcome, Heather, to the stage. The floor is yours.
Hello, Crystal. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And in fact, you and Yana were just talking about the statistics and the fact that women are stronger and better at business. And I have a couple of reasons why, and then I'll kind of get into my presentation. So one of the things, there was a recent study done about, the quality of the distinguished women leaders, and they interviewed several, they looked at their businesses, and what they came across and decided is that women leaders are more assertive, we're more persuasive, that we have a stronger need to get things done. In other words, done and accomplished. And we are willing to take risks that male leaders are not. And that this approach in leadership and entrepreneurship helps women better facilitate collaboration, like we're having today, and information sharing. So when you think about this, goes back to the point of, they always say, well, men aren't willing to ask for directions if they're lost, but women will find a way and will ask for directions, right? So it's the same theme of a lot of times men just innately feel like they have the answers. They don't want to ask for answers, where women, we want to get to the bottom of things. We want to pull resources. We want to find out how we can get things done appropriately. And that might mean that we have to lean on other people and ask questions. So that it plays in our favor, ladies. Asking questions, talking it out, looking for our resources, and not giving up is actually playing in our favor, making us stronger businesswomen and entrepreneurs. And in fact, women run businesses and companies generate 35% more than men run and managed businesses. And that is all due to the fact that we are relentless and resilient. And if you really think about our biology and DNA as women, we are built to be resilient and determined. And that really even starts at a very young age. So if you think about the fact that we as adolescents have to go through puberty, right? And we have to have a very different adventure than our male counterparts, right? We have to figure out how to hide the fact that we're having a menstrual cycle while we're at school or in the middle of PE class. So learning to put up the front, get things done no matter what, and push through with persistence and perseverance is ingrained in us at a very young age and continues all the way into adulthood. And if you think about the fact that a lot of us are mothers, not to discount the ones that aren't yet or have chosen not to do that, but innately we have that nurturing ability either way. So what happens is that when we wake up in the morning and we go, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I don't want to do this today, we still get up and do it because we're used to the fact that you're a mother 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, no matter what happens, right? You've got to make sure that the laundry gets done, the house gets taken care of, the children get fed, no one ends up in the hospital today. All those things have to happen, right? When it comes to our businesses, it's the same thing, right? We are less likely to make excuses. We are more likely to make sure things are getting done. We look at things at an evaluation point of this is the most critical. This is exactly what needs to happen first. This is what needs to happen second. And if we get to third, wonderful. But we are prepared our whole lives for taking this over. And I think that's why a lot of times we see women, maybe in the second half of their life, maybe later on, deciding that they want entrepreneurship versus being in that employee setting, because we are used to running a household. We're used to running things. We're used to taking care of things and making sure things get done. A lot of us take on that mindset of, why would I ask you to do that when I can just get it done and be done with it? So one thing I'd like to warn women when they're coming into the entrepreneurship world is that, yes, I fully believe we're more capable than doing it with men, not because we're better people, just because we're better at managing multi things at one time. What I want you to do, though, is slow down and learn how to budget your time, how to time block. Oftentimes people will look at me and say, okay, you're homeschooling, you've got kids, your husband has medical needs, you own a business, you help manage a business, you do volunteer work, you also have your daughters are writing books, you're writing books, you're speaking, you're author. How do you even have time in the day? Well, I make time. I'm sit down and make a time, make your time blocks, realize that that is the commitment. Even if you time blocked for your business and you said, for these 3 hours a day, I'm doing appointments. Even if you have no appointments set, those are just the 3 hours you're going to spend making appointments for the future time blocks in that time frame. Committing to those times, if that is what I'm doing during that time, right? Making sure you do make time in there, even for family time, even for Friday night movie night. Booking the time for your family, booking the time for your mental wellness, booking the time for your clients, and booking the time to do all those amazing things you want to accomplish versus making excuses. Just get it done Perfection is never going to happen. I had this conversation earlier today with an amazing woman who wants to go down a new amazing road. And I said to her, you can wait for it to be perfect or you can get started. So the reality is not that you should just jump in and have no plans. You have to make a commitment to yourself and say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to make the steps that take me to that point, right? So I could sit back here and say, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And eventually I'm going to have it all aligned and everything's going to be wonderful. What I'll tell you is life will slap you in the face. It's not going to happen. Commit to what you want, make it happen, and pull the resources, because as women, that's what we're good at doing. Okay. Understand what your strengths are. Understand what you can resource out that is not your strengths or is taking up your time. Since I became a serious entrepreneur, multipreneur, and managing multiple different companies, I don't go to the grocery store. Even before the pandemic, I order my groceries, and people say, well, you spend a little bit more. Do you know what an hour with me costs? No, I don't spend more, because that hour or 2 hours or 3 hours it would take me to get in the car, drive to the grocery store, shop the groceries, probably buy the wrong groceries because I'm hungry, put them into the cart, put them into my car, drive home, get it unpacked, put it away. Okay, that's a lot of time, right? So to save yourself that frustration, and the whole time you're thinking, oh my gosh, I should be at home. I should be doing this. This isn't getting done. Time is money. It's exactly right. Whoever just commented that, time is money. Learning how to manage your time teaches you how to manage your money. Sit down and figure out what you are worth an hour, what your time is worth, and what are the most important things. For one. For two, another trick I use is at the end of the day, I write down the first 6 things I'm going to do tomorrow. And hopefully I get them done. But I write down, I get to sleep easier because I'm like, those are the first 6 things I'm doing when I wake up, right? And when I wake up, I start working down that list. But understand, when life gets in the way, instead of throwing your hands up and seeing yourself as a failure, realize life isn't perfect. Progress gets you to the closest you can to perfection. And when things step in the way, like I've been throwing curveballs all week, including my husband testing positive with COVID, who has serious health problems, which sends our family to a tailspin, including to last night, rushing through the dining room, tripping over the piano seat that my child left out, and breaking my foot. So it doesn't really matter, because if I waited for things to be perfect, I wouldn't be an author 6 times. I wouldn't be speaking to you today. I wouldn't have a successful business helping people all around the world understand how to change their generational wealth. I wouldn't have a podcast, and I wouldn't have a TV show. But because I push myself for purpose, like even Annabelle was talking about earlier, my purpose. And I know that my purpose is to help other people. And I know there's people out there that are in horrible positions, just like I've been before, that need to see the light at the end of the tunnel and need to climb out. So if you have a purpose, you have a mission, and you're sitting at home going, well, I know I could really do, but this isn't perfect, and maybe no one wants to hear my voice. They want to hear your voice. They need to hear your voice. They need to know that regular people, regular women can step out into their own, be productive, and be successful. The world needs to hear that. And I think they're starting to listen. That's what I love about She Rise Studios. That's what I love about the collective. That's what I love about these workshops and our books, is that we're able to show that regular people can be inspirational and motivational, that these stories are approachable. Sure, Oprah Winfrey and Drew Barrymore and Ellen are all wonderful, amazing women that have accomplished amazing things. And you can hear them give you the most motivational advice. But at the end of the day, you're always going to sit back and say, but I'm not Oprah. But guess what? You're no different than me. My name's Heather. My life can be a mess sometimes, but I'm willing to step up and do what others aren't. Okay, so what I want you to do, if you're sitting there questioning, you're listening to this because you're like, oh, maybe I want to be a woman entrepreneur. Do I really have what it takes to be a woman entrepreneur? Stop asking yourself that question and start saying, how am I going to step into my entrepreneurship? What is my purpose? What do I have to add to the world, right? What do I have to do to change my family's trajectory, to change my trajectory? Because your kids are always watching. If you really want more for your children, you have to show them. Action speaks louder than the words. They are watching every step you take. And if you want them to be bold, if you want them to be able to accomplish things in their life, you need to show them that it's possible. When I first started writing books, my daughters came to me and said, Mommy, can we write a book? You wrote a book. And at first I thought, okay, they're 12 and 6. And I was like, okay, sure. You want to write a book? Let's write a book. So this past year, they published Spy the Curious Giraffe and Samantha Plankton. Is it because we're this extraordinary family that's better than everybody else? No. It's because we were willing to believe in ourselves. We were willing to believe it's possible. And we were willing to take the steps that were needed to get it done. So what I want you to take away from this conversation, because normally I'm the one here talking about money, and I could talk to you all day about money, and I'd be happy to talk to you all day about money. If you want to know how to protect your business, you want to know how to protect your family, you want to know how to grow generational wealth on your current budget, you want to know how to pay off your debt on your current budget, I'm your girl. I can show you how it's done, or someone from my team can sit down and walk you through the whole process, right? So you're more than welcome to reach out and talk to me about those things. But what I want to do here today, what I want to give those women entrepreneurs out there watching this today is you are enough. Stop getting in your own way. Stop making excuses. Your purpose, your mission, and your words are worthy. They need to be heard. They need to be seen. And if you want to go open a restaurant, go open a restaurant. Make it happen. There's tons of grants out there. There's tons of things out there that can help you do it. Group fund, whatever you got to do. Instead of making excuses, start coming up with solutions. There are tons of solutions out there and resources that are right at your fingertips. You just have to get creative. You have to be willing to ask, and you have to be willing to go after it. So stop putting it aside. Use all of the amazing advice you're going to get today from all the amazing women here. Take your notes and start getting stuff done, because we are more than capable of changing the world. Do you know that it was said by the Dalai Lama that Western women will change the world, will save the world? Well, we will. We will save the world. Why? Because it is in our instinct, it is in our ability, and we are willing to stand up and have that voice. So it took us a little while to generationally get past not speaking and not having our voice. But at this point, ladies, we have a voice, and we have to be that voice for the other women in other countries that don't have that voice. We have to show them it's possible. So they're willing to stand up and know their worth too. So thanks for listening. If you're on this workshop, it's because you're already making the right decisions, that you want to be a better woman entrepreneur. You want to step out into the world. So get out of your own way and make that step, ladies.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Heather. Everybody, you hear that? Get out of your own way. That's like definitely the best advice. Some of the things that I wrote down, time blocking. That's one of the things I live my life by time blocking, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do without it. So that was key. I think the other thing too was what you were saying about basically knowing how to spend your time, and time is money. Like I tell women entrepreneurs all the time, you got to focus on revenue generating activities. Revenue generating activities is not doing your laundry. It's not cleaning your house. It doesn't make you any less of a woman. And I think that's what we've been led to believe. And so we have to release that. That is a generational curse. Right.
Yes.
You know, and I didn't understand that growing up. I thought that said something about me as a woman, that, you know, I wasn't able to do my laundry like 2-3 times a week. Like it was, you know, but I had to release that, and that's not my ministry. That is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm best spending my time focusing on revenue generating activities and growing the business, because that's what I'm supposed to do. And so I definitely commend you for saying that. And I hope you guys are taking notes and just kind of taking that in, and realizing that it doesn't make you any less of a woman to not necessarily do the domesticated things. So I think we release that. with the other generational curses. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Let's see.
But thank
Crystal,
you
so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Heather. All right, guys, you guys having a good time? You guys learning a lot? If you are, put a 1 in the chat for me. Put a 1 in the chat if you like what you heard so far. If you love all the speakers that you've listened to, if you've taken like pages and pages and pages and pages of notes, like I did. So yes, actually I see some ones coming in. I see CJ says so freaking powerful, recognizing we can make choices to build our business without it negating who we are as a woman, a mama, and a wife. Yes, CJ, I love it, love it, love it. We got ones from Kyla, from Elisa. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we're going to keep this rolling, keep the party going, right? All right, so next up, we have Michelle Meza. Her topic is entrepreneurial mindset, 7 ways to shift your mind from an employee to entrepreneur. Love this. For over 28 years, Michelle Meza, also known as Coach Michelle D, has been a noteworthy leader in the business industry and is known for her work as the CEO at Luxy Coaching and Consulting. Michelle has been featured in several well-known industry publications, books, and podcasts. Coach Michelle D has been honored with multiple recognitions, including a National Leadership Award, Native 40 Under 40 for her contributions and expertise in business and Native American communities. She's formally trained in organizational leadership, holds an MBA, a Bachelor of Science degree in entrepreneurship, with emphasis in strategic leadership. She holds certifications as a business process manager, Green Belt in Lean Six Sigma, REBT, and emotional intelligence transformational coach, and instructional story design. She is an international best-selling author and has published articles in business and in education. Michelle is involved in real estate and resides in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Welcome, Michelle, to the stage. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Crystal. You have done such an amazing job hosting our workshop. So what does everybody think about all these great speakers today? These women are so powerful. I'm so honored to share the stage with everyone today. And I'm so excited about what everybody is touching on. It all goes together. And that's what I love about She Rises Studios Collective workshops and conferences. It's just an amazing time as women to be in our business and sharing the knowledge and lifting each other up. So with that said, I'm going to go right into my topic. I first want to share a very powerful quote that I found by Dr. Lucas Shalua. And basically, he is the founder of the whole paradigm shift. So I'm sure that most of you have heard the buzzwords paradigm shift. So he is the author of it. And his quote says, "Paradigm shift is for the mindful, but those who refuse to adopt to new ways of looking at things will always catch yesterday's train, flight, or bus." And that's just a powerful statement in itself. And so as I speak about the 7 ways to shift your mindset from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset, and you don't have to be thinking about business. This isn't only for new entrepreneurs or people who are thinking about it, but I'm speaking to everyone. You may be 2 to 5 years already in your business, but haven't quite made the shift into an actual business owner. And so I'm going to help you do that today. So first, I want to share a story with you, first shared by Stephen Covey. And he talked about a man on a New York subway. And, everyone on their way home, they're tired. They've, just recollecting the day and just really just want to be in their moment of peace and quiet, right? Most of these people have gone on the subway and worked all day. But there's a man there, and he noticed on his way home that there is another man there with kids on the train. And he was so like the man had his head down. He was just kind of absent in the moment, and the kids were just screaming and running around, and everyone was just looking at the man like, "Hey guy, are you going to do something with your kids?" And nobody, everybody at that point was getting annoyed, but nobody was really saying anything. And so this man who was observing all of this on his way home, he reached out to that man. He said, "Hey, I noticed that everyone's kind of getting a little agitated about your kids. They're screaming, all these people. We just want some peace on our way home. We've all had rough days." And the dad looked at the ground, didn't look at this man and said, I know, we just left the hospital. My wife is very ill, sick, possibly dying, and they've been cooped up in this hospital. And so they have spent hours in this hospital having to be still and quiet. And I just wanted them to just be themselves. And so at that moment, everyone heard this conversation, and there was a shift of energy on that subway that day. There was a paradigm shift that happened with everyone's mind. And so all of a sudden, everyone wanted to reach out and oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can do? Here, let me reach out and play some, tic-tac-toe with the kids or whatever. And so that's what I want to share with you today about how to shift your mindset from all about me, a me show, to a we show. So first, let's talk about paradigm shift. What is it? So it's the Greek root for paradigm is paradigma, which means pattern or how we see reality. So the first point I want to discuss today is the metal chair mentality, right? So when you think of an event, and it could be for work, it could be a wedding, you see people who are assigned to clean up, pick up the chairs, set up the chairs, take them down. And you notice in some instances that only certain people do this while others stand around, or at some events you see everyone jumping in together. And with that, an entrepreneur is a service-led, or should be a service-led servant leadership. So instead of looking at yourself as, oh my gosh, I hired these people, I'm just going to just sit back and let everything happen. Or you have to make the decision, what can I do? It looks like this team is short-staffed, which in that case, it happens, after COVID, our workforce has just been turned upside down. And you're looking at all these gaps and you're thinking, okay, so how can I jump in and help these people out and get this thing done, just get it taken care of? And, over the past 20 years, I've had the pleasure to serve and lead and develop high performance teams, different types of diverse teams, and leaders. And the one common thing that I've noticed is when they had that paradigm shift, they went from, that's not my job. That's theirs. I'm not going to do that. I'm a leader now. I'm a manager. I don't need to do that. To, oh my goodness, I want to be the first to help them. I see my team member or I see my associate struggling over there. Maybe they've had a bad day. I don't know what their day looks like before they clocked into work today, but what can I do to make it better? And so that is an example of the metal chair mentality. Now, the second shift that I want to talk about is a belief system. So from childhood, we develop these sets of beliefs, either how our reality was at the time or how it's changed based on the belief system. And so a lot of the things that I do when I work with my clients is I go deep into their belief system. And it could be irrational beliefs, which is, your mind isn't healed and you're basing things based on a traumatic event and you're stuck there, or you've shifted over into a rational belief system. So think like a business owner and decide how to most effectively position yourself as a leader, as an innovator, disruptor, change agent, etc. So what are your beliefs? Look deep, dive deep into your belief system and look at the heart. So Denise spoke a little bit about this being heart-centered, and I focus on the whole center. And so I love the way we all bring things together, and we all shared some really great nuggets today. And a lot of those speakers today have really touched on belief system. They might not have said it, but I want you to make that shift in your mind. And you could even close your eyes for a minute and really dig deep and figure out, okay, what do my beliefs look like and how does it execute into my business plan? And that's when the real change happens. That's when the paradigm shift happens. It affects how you hire, who you hire, how you hire, the roles that they play, how you scale your business, and beyond. Which leads us to the third shift, the bridge. So when you think of a bridge, what do you think about? You're thinking of, okay, so most cases there's water underneath, and that bridge connects one road to the other side of the road. So think about it in your organization, in your business, with your teams. Be inclusive. So diversity and inclusion, those are buzzwords here. Those are obviously not going away, but I want to dig a little deeper on that. And so when you're thinking about, okay, how do I build the bridge the gaps in people and processes? Annabelle spoke a little bit about people and processes at the beginning of the workshop, and I really loved her points that she touched on. And I want to go in a little deeper with that. So when you think about a bridge, you create solutions, right? We go into business solving a problem or finding a solution. Maybe it was a frustration we had. But then when we have to deal with people, and this could be, your clients you serve or the team that you build, drive inclusiveness, drive those solutions, be solution driven, and not say, oh, it's not my job, or it's not her job, don't contact her. No, you want to build an inclusive team to where everybody wins. Everybody feels appreciated, loved, and they want to be there, because when someone feels appreciated, they do more for you. Which leads to the fourth shift, farmer versus hunter. Now that's an interesting concept. So a lot of us know in sales that you do have farmers versus hunters. So what do I mean by that? So farmers cultivate, they curate, and nurture. So think of a farmer working on his or her field, and they're in it every day. They're looking at different ways to drain so the crops, they don't lose their crops. They focus on the soil first, and then their environment. And hunters go after the kill, not caring about who is in their path or the effects the kill has in their environment. And so as a leader, when you shift your mind from an employee, meaning, okay, I do my job, this is my tasks, and then I'm going to go home. But when you shift it to an entrepreneur, you're thinking about, how can I cultivate my business? What do I want my business culture to look like? How do I want to organize it in a way to where people in my community know what I stand for and what type of culture I have inside of my business? And not only will it attract your community partners and drive people to be on your team, but it also sends a clear message to your clients, because people notice things, right? Be authentic, be yourself, be inclusive, and really cultivate that environment of a farmer mentality. Now that leads me to shift number 5, fear or fuel. So face your fears head on, because I've noticed with a lot of my clients over the years that fear stops them from doing a lot of things. And a lot of people quit, right? So, 90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. But why do they fail? Is it the shift in the mindset? It hasn't quite reached the paradigm shift? Or is it business operations? The answer could be many things, but a lot of what I've seen over the years is fear. People would rather walk away than to face your fear. And yeah, it's scary, but instead make the shift of your belief system. My fear fuels me and pushes me into greatness and abundance. My mistakes prevent me from moving forward, versus I learn from my mistakes and succeed. A lot of people say, okay, lesson learned, won't do that again. But really, what are you doing with it? Because then you fall into that same cycle and you repeat the same things. Which leads me to the next shift, light the torch, blazing a trail for the next generation of leaders. Be a lifelong learner, because as leaders, we are all lifelong learners. That is our passion. We're always wanting to learn, learning something new, adopting new technologies to scale our business, to help our teams be better at what they do, helping our clients solve problems. So be a lifelong learner and leave the ego behind, because you can't do two things. You can't lead from the heart and lead with your ego. It just can't be done. It's about the journey, not the promotion. As employees, it's about me, right? It's about, okay, I need to get this raise. I need to work on this promotion so I can take care of my family. But as an entrepreneur, you're thinking about everyone, right? How can I make my organization better? How can I build my business model better to serve my clients, to serve my people, and serve my community? So don't pass the torch, light the way for others, and our torch will not be their torch. But at least if we light the way, we illuminate it, it allows that path to be clear so the next generation of leaders can walk through it. Now, let's talk about the last shift, which is dream big, do bigger. So instead of looking at the mountain as a roadblock, think bigger and move mountains. And I recently co-authored a book, Dream Big, Do Bigger. And it's just an amazing book. And what I did in my chapter is I shared my strategy on how I accomplish my goals, no matter what they are, no matter the setbacks. And because when you have that paradigm shift of thinking bigger, you do bigger. Your actions are differently. The way you treat people, the way you lead people, the way you run your business, it completely changes things. So that said, if you need an additional support partner, a coach to coach you through and create that full shift in your mindset, I'm your girl. It's me, Coach Michelle D. If you need business coaching, I'm going to drop my link here shortly in the comments. But I just want to thank you all for showing up today. And don't forget to dream big and do bigger. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. Like, I loved everything that you shared. I think it's definitely key when we go from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset. I think the biggest thing I took away was face your fears. It can be scary making that big transition and thinking for the whole instead of, just for yourself. So I encourage all of you to face your fears, make that investment, take that next step, do it anyway, in spite of what you may be feeling, because guess what? If you're not afraid, you're not doing it right. That's my motto. But thank you so much. Make sure you guys interact with Michelle in the comments. If you have questions for her, make sure you drop your questions into the comments. And I know Michelle's going to drop her link, but we're going to keep things rolling here, guys. So next up is Lauren Weiss. Her topic is work like a woman, get paid like a man. Lauren Weiss is a business productivity specialist who focuses on helping highly motivated women get ahead in both business and life by leveraging their hormonal and cyclic rhythms. Lauren's refreshing and revolutionary approach to the way women work using her cycle-aligned methodology has made her a sought-after speaker, online educator, and consultant to the thought leaders of today. Lauren is a co-author in the 6-book series, Becoming an Unstoppable Woman, published through She Rises Studios, elevating her to a 5-time international best-selling author. She is also a master certified health and transformational coach and podcast host. Lauren has been featured in and has written for both Becoming an Unstoppable Woman and Ladies Who Leverage magazines and enjoys guesting on a variety of podcasts. Lauren currently resides in Wichita, Kansas with her husband and daughter and is currently working on a solo book, which will be released in 2024. Welcome, Lauren, to the stage.
Hi, Crystal. Oh my gosh, you've done such an amazing job. And thank you for that wonderful introduction. The women that have been on stage so far, can we please give a round of applause? Like powerhouses, right? Oh my gosh, it's such a privilege to share the stage. So yes, we're going to be talking about working like a woman and getting paid like a man, because I know we're all here for that. This is a women's entrepreneurship workshop, right? So I have a question for you. Have you guys ever felt like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? I mean, I know I have. I know I have felt like I've been one person at one day, and then the next day I'm a completely different person. And that's okay, because every woman is at least 4 different women in one. Well, what do you mean, right? Okay, so women have access to a wide range of enhanced or heightened abilities and approaches on this repeating monthly basis. Are you following me here? How? Well, if I asked you, what do women have that men don't? What comes to mind? Women have this natural power source that could be leveraged to be more successful at work and in life. It goes by the names On Flow, or some people call it Shark Week. I'm sure you've arrived at it. It's our menstrual cycle, right? And you're probably asking me, Lauren, again, this is an entrepreneurship workshop. Why are we talking about our periods? Why is this topic so important? Well, more and more women are in leadership roles and starting new businesses. Let me drop some stats on you. So 40% of US businesses are women owned. That's about 12.3 million women owned businesses, about twice the population of Arizona. That's a lot. And it's generating about $1.8 trillion a year. But if we take it to a global income, that's $13 trillion, and it's going to expected to grow to 18 trillion in the next 5 years. So we have to come to a realization, though, that women work differently than men. Well, how? So men have a cycle too. It's on a 24-hour cycle. It's testosterone. Okay, so the testosterone peaks in the morning and it kind of tapers off through the afternoon, bottoms out in the evening, goes to sleep, come right back around, peaks in the morning, this 24-hour cycle, like over and over again. And if you take that and you lift that up and you apply it right down to the schedule of a corporate and business world, you can see that it actually fits almost perfectly, right? Well, guess what? Women work on a different type of cycle. We typically work on a 28-day cycle. And yes, us women are snowflakes and perfect and amazing in every way. And some cycles are 15 days. It can go all the way up to 35 days. But we're going to talk about a 28-day cycle here. And we work off of estrogen and progesterone predominantly. And therefore, we just work differently. Now, I have to share a little truth about myself. Before I went to nursing school, I thought that the menstrual cycle was just 1 week. I thought it was just the week that we bleed. And when I finally got into school and did some studying, I realized that actually it's the entire month, and there's 4 phases. There's a menstrual phase, which is days 1 through 7. There's a follicular phase, which is 7 through 14. Ovulation, which is day 13 through 15. And then that last phase, which is the luteal phase, which is days 16 through 28. And through this entire thing, we have hormones that are ebbing and flowing and going up and down and changing, which means that we're changing. And it's a beautiful thing. And menstrual cycles can be this powerful tool that we can actually, if we harness them correctly, we can be like on next level, y'all. Okay, so utilizing the ability to transform throughout the month, like this ebb and flow of our mental, physical, emotional changes, it impacts how we perceive and perform in various circumstances. So let's just jump right into it. Let's go to that first phase. That's reflection and planning. Now, like I had mentioned before, progesterone and estrogen during this phase, it's at its absolute bottom. And when that happens, what happens in our brain is that serotonin levels, they actually fluctuate, causing this erratic mood swings. Like this is when Mr. Hyde comes peeking through the corner, right? And so what can we do? Well, this is an ideal time for that reflection and goal setting. Knowing that we're going to be experiencing these unregulated moods, this possible discomfort and less physical energy, this is a suitable time to be gentle with ourselves, kind of retreat within our inner world. Excuse me. So how do we take this to business? Because I know you're sitting here like, well, this isn't a biology class, girl. This is a workshop. So how are we going to apply this in business? And we do that by evaluating the past month's business performance. What went well? What didn't go as planned? What can be improved? Next is setting goals and priorities for the upcoming month. With these reflections, what adjustments can we implement in the future? And great time to set up and plan meetings and start brainstorming, schedule the month accordingly. When we have these ideas, when we have this time, right, we can be gentle with ourselves and allow ourselves to take a little bit, like a slow down just a little bit, like step off the gas, right? Let's move on to that second phase, that follicular phase. This is that creativity and innovation. I like to liken this to springtime. Like we're leaving that hibernation of winter, going into springtime, things kind of come alive. And what's happening in the body is estrogen is on the rise, right? It gives us that extra energy. And that estrogen kind of can break through that brain-blood barrier, and it gives that body and our brain that energy and revitalization. What's awesome and ideal for this is creative tasks and problem solving. There's studies that show that estrogen actually has a therapeutic effect on the nerves, and it actually affects that frontal lobe and hippocampus, and could be one of the main contributors to our neuroplasticity, which is like that changing and rewiring of the brain. So how can we leverage this in our business? Well, launch new projects or initiatives. With this surge of energy and good feelings, this would be a wonderful time to start something new. Brainstorm and develop innovative ideas. Again, that frontal lobe and that hippocampus are activated, so we can actually feel more creative and social. So network and collaborate with others. Lean into making more connections and appreciating this diverse array of perspectives to really broaden our scope and creativity. I mean, when we do that, that just automatically equals growth opportunities, right? Let's go into that third phase, that ovulatory phase. And this is about communication and collaboration. We've already been talking about collaboration over competition, right? And communicating effectively. So what's happening in our body? Well, estrogen and testosterone during this phase are at its highest. And like we discussed before, estrogen actually encourages blood flow to the brain. It helps decrease inflammation, and it assists in agility and memory recall. The surge in testosterone, though, that gives us that increased energy and endurance and that stamina. So this is a perfect time for communication and collaboration. Estrogen also perks up the amygdala, and it allows us to sense better recognizing others' feelings or emotions. And that hippocampus, it gets enlarged, which actually helps us better understand what motivates others. We truly have these super social skills during this time. That extra estrogen and surge in testosterone increases our confidence and our courage to be seen. Our magnetism increases. And let's be real, while we're here, so do our sales. This is a great time to schedule important presentations or meetings. With this increased confidence and perception, we can present our ideas more effectively. We can strengthen relationships with the clients, partners, and employees. This is a perfect time to effectively communicate our needs and expectations to team members and negotiate deals or resolve conflicts. I mean, the courage and confidence we have now to boldly go after what we want and state our needs. Let our yes mean yes, right? Grab it, seize it. A lot of times we're better able to actively listen. A lot of times people think, oh, we're paying attention, we're listening. But no, during this time, we can actually actively listen and then concisely communicate. Let's go to that last phase, the luteal phase. This is organization and execution. Now, progesterone has been shown to have an effect on both focus and organization. Progesterone has been also shown to increase cognition, regulation of mood, and mitochondrial functions. And what is so cool about progesterone is that studies have shown it can actually aid in recovery from traumatic brain injuries. This is an amazing time for completing tasks and tying up these loose ends. Now, having this extra progesterone in the brain, it actually helps with both verbal and processing and visual memory. Now, we become super aware or have these heightened spidey senses, right? So it's really great to focus on tedious or mundane tasks. So we can maximize on this productivity by focusing on administrative tasks and organization, right? Like this is the best time to start organizing paperwork, analyze data, and make data-driven decisions. Look over accounting and statistics related to your business. It's a great time too to delegate tasks and actually empower team members. You can see pattern recognition, better able to decipher like who is best equipped to tackle certain tasks and get prepared for the upcoming cycle to do it all once again. All right, so you may be thinking, Lauren, wait a second, hold up. I can't change my life, my job, my boss, the world to suit my cycle. And let's get real. You're right. But we can use awareness and where possible, apply these natural rhythms and heightened abilities to be the best that we can be and allowing us to shine at work, run successful businesses and projects, and create that work-life balance that best suits us. It always helps to know what not to do as well as what to do. So let's get really aware. Let's plan accordingly. Let's trust our bodies. Let's take action at the right time, but also being flexible and giving ourselves grace. When we lean into our bodies and what it needs, we can show up for our customers and businesses as our best selves without feeling burnt out. And that is how we can work like a woman and get paid like a man. Now, I know I dropped a lot of knowledge on you. If you have any questions, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. You can find me anywhere on social media at Cycle Align or go to cyclealign.com today. Thank you so much for your time.
Lauren, oh my gosh, that was so good. Yeah, so I'm gonna definitely be reaching out because as someone who has multiple businesses, like I think someone dropped it in the comments. I don't know who said I can't believe it. Maybe it was Yana. I can't believe we don't study this in school. Yes, that I cannot believe we don't study this in school. I have my theories on why we don't study this in school, but I I think we can utilize this, especially as women entrepreneurs, to empower ourselves within our careers and within our business to know when is the most optimal time to do certain things. And, we kind of can move in that way and move and do things to our advantage. So I love what you presented. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
valuable. Awesome. All right, moving right along, guys. Next up, we have Martina Kwan. Her topic is how to grow a business. Born in Hong Kong to a German mother and Chinese father, Martina Kwan was destined to a life that was different. She spent her childhood in Asia, the Middle East, and Europe, but credits living in war-torn Beirut, Lebanon during the Lebanese War as an experience that defined much of her fearlessness today. Martina Kwan is a 3 times champion race car driver, a 2 times international best-selling author, an Emmy and Telly Award-winning business entrepreneur. Aside from being the CEO of DK Racing School, she is also the CEO of Daring to Be Different, in which she is a champion, mindset, confidence, and business coach to high-level female executives. She also hosts her signature Extreme Confidence Mastermind Women's Retreats at serene locations in the Southwest U.S., which are meant to turn challenges into new beginnings. One of her life's missions now is to inspire women to believe in themselves, and anything is possible at any age. Welcome, Martina.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and what great speeches so far. It's been really interesting listening to everyone. Hi, I'm Martina Kwan. I'm really excited to talk about what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur in any business. And aside from being in accounting and finance with KPMG, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Lehman Brothers, and being a financial controller with Ian Schrager Hotels, one of my greatest life's pleasures has been being an entrepreneur in 5 businesses: Rainbow Polishing, Neoteric Luxury Outdoor Collections, So Animation, DK Racing School, and Daring to Be Different Coaching. And what it really means, what does it mean to be an entrepreneur? To me, it means fulfilling your own dreams rather than fulfilling someone else's. But before you decide to give up your 9-to-5 position, I really encourage you to look at different things, to think about different things before you take that leap into entrepreneurship. So the first thing is, do you believe in yourself? And when I say, do you believe in yourself, I mean, do you really believe in yourself, your product, everything that's going to go into running a business, because it is a 24/7 proposition. And the other thing, I find that it's very important to know all aspects of business, right? So everything from management, procurement, logistics, marketing, sales, accounting and finance, operations and human resources. I think it's really important to be a jack of all trades, at least at the beginning, and really have a handle of all operational aspects before you start hiring people. And especially where accounting and finance is concerned, really get a handle on your own finances before you entrust it to somebody else. Number two, is your product viable or service? You might think that what you're offering is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it's really important to assess the demand in the market. So my third business was Neoteric Luxury Outdoor Collections, and it was born in Connecticut, New York City, Connecticut in 2006. And basically I was looking for outdoor furniture and really couldn't find a big selection. Either it was extremely expensive or very poor quality. And so it was actually really easy to kind of decide to enter the market and fill a void in the market. So went to Indonesia and found a factory to work with, and there was this award-winning business that was born. The other thing that you want to think about is, you know, if you're looking at a retail location, if you're looking at a physical space, is the product that you're offering enough? So you need a lot of different products to make it worthwhile to be able to pay the rent. The next thing is, who is your target market? So who do you anticipate buying your products and services? And it's really, really important to differentiate yourself from other products and services. And my philosophy is always really try to be the best at what you offer. With Neoteric Luxury Outdoor Collections, we wanted to be the best in the industry, and we ended up competing with the best in the industry. So really start off thinking that you want to be an ethical business owner who provides the best product or service. And that's going to differentiate yourself. Being a great service provider, providing personal service really is, even in today's electronic world, so important. And it's also really important to have a very clear idea of who you're targeting. What are their buying behaviors? What is their age range? So if you have an older age range, you might use Facebook marketing as your social media choice of marketing and sales. Or if they're younger generation would probably respond more to ads that you post on TikTok and Snapchat. And why would they choose you over the competition? So you really have to get a very clear idea of why would they choose you. The other thing that's so important is the competitive analysis. And I would say that's one of the first things that you would look at. Look, is this a product that I can actually, is my product viable in the marketplace? So if I wanted to open a hardware store, I would probably say, you know what, that is not a great idea, because there is a Home Depot and Lowe's at any corner in any major city. So really make sure that what you're offering, you're going to be able to compete. And it's very, very hard to compete with the very large retailers. So if you wanted to open a store that offers many different things like a Walmart or Target, it's going to be extremely difficult to compete. And in fact, Walmart, as we know, has driven a lot of smaller, Main Street businesses, but also larger businesses. I actually worked on the bankruptcy restructuring job of Kmart while I was with KPMG. So Walmart actually pushed a lot of people out of the business, that market. So definitely think about what you're offering and whether your entry to the market is even viable given the competition that's in the marketplace. And of course, it's normal and healthy, and in fact, very important to have competitors. It actually makes you a better business owner. It drives you to reach new levels of quality. So competition is especially important. And the other thing is, what is your pricing? This is a very important point, and a lot of people make the mistake of saying, you know what, if I offer something for cheap, then people are going to buy it. The problem with that is that if you're offering a product and you're a small business owner, you will never be able to compete with the volume purchasing advantages that the large retailers like Walmart or Target get. So it's very, very hard to compete on price. So I believe it's important to compete on other things like quality, your uniqueness of your product, and price your services based on value, and take, of course, into account the costs. And for women especially, I want to say, make sure that you price yourself based on your value. A lot of times women will undervalue themselves and sort of not be confident enough to charge what they're worth. So I would really encourage you to charge what you're worth. If you're a coach, it's very difficult to use the ascension model. In other words, you're offering something, let's say at 47 and then 97, 197, and that goes up and up from there. So when somebody starts out buying a cheap product from you, let's say, I don't know, a marriage counseling program for $97, nobody would expect that your marriage can be saved for $97. So it's really important to look at the value of, if you price something what it's worth, people are actually going to see it for what it's worth. So if they invest, instead of 97, let's say $5,000, they're going to view it in a completely different light than when they paid 97. And not only that, they're going to be more motivated to get the results that you're offering for actually a much more reasonable price to help, let's say, save a marriage. So, and again, the more higher the prices, the more people invest, the more vested they are in their own outcome from whatever they're purchasing, the service or the product. And where are you going to source your product? So this is actually one of my favorite things to say. A lot of Americans, and especially Americans, don't know where to source products. So if you wanted to get into electronics or buy stationery or whatever it is, you need to decide, where am I going to make it? Is it going to be here in the United States? Is it going to be in Mexico? Or is it going to be overseas? Typically, we would look at Asia. So if you're looking for a product, do not go to the American or European trade shows, because your cost is going to be so much higher than if you go directly to the source. So if you'd like to source in Vietnam, Google trade shows in Ho Chi Minh City. Thailand would be Bangkok. Philippines would be Manila. Indonesia, you would Google Jakarta. And for China, you would either look at Guangzhou, Beijing, or Shanghai. And so you would go to these trade shows and look for quality vendors, inspect the product. If you find somebody that you like, speak to the owner, make sure that you have a good rapport, and then invest time to go to the factory. It'll take an extra day for you to stay in the country. They would send a car to your hotel, and it would be probably 2 hours into the countryside. But that way you can really make sure that this business actually, in fact, exists. And you can also negotiate much better prices once you reach an agreement. Your negotiations happen in the factory rather than on a trade show floor. The other thing is, do you want a physical location, or are you going to go online? And I'm going to say, even before COVID, that retail is a dying breed. So it's extremely expensive to have retail per square foot is extremely expensive, and has gotten even more expensive. And you would have to typically sign a lease of 3 to 5 years. And you also have to think about all the products that you need for a physical location to be viable. So if at all possible, try to sell things online if you can. And also, really important, a lot of people don't think about this, but do you have enough capital to start your business? It took millions of dollars to start Neoteric Luxury and build the inventory, bring it over, right? The container costs, the import costs, the warehouse cost, having a retail and warehouse location, and spending tens and thousands of dollars of exhibiting and advertising, exhibiting at trade shows such as HD Summit, HD Expo, and all the networking events to build the brand. And for an online, if you're a coach and you're building an online business, the biggest expense is going to be in growing your brand and investing in attracting clients. And typically, a lot of people don't know how to do that. So you'll need to invest in your education to learn how to attract those online clients. It's a different world right now. So finally, again, I'm going to go back to circle around to believe in yourself. If you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to fulfill your own dreams, it's really been my greatest pleasure to do this, but it takes focus. It takes so much hard work. Starting DK Racing School, it's almost a full-time job to really grow the social media presence, grow the brand awareness, and reach out to people to come to your events, right? It's a very, very intensive thing to be a business owner, to be an entrepreneur, but I would recommend it to anyone because you're fulfilling your own dreams. So as long as it's viable, you have the capital, you've done the research, I wish you all the best with it. If you need any help with that, you can reach out to me at info@martinakwan.com or at Martina Kwan on Instagram. And it would be my pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much for having me on this entrepreneurship workshop.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Martina. So many gems dropped, guys. I don't know if you guys really realized it. I think for me, be the best at what you offer is something I think that is really important, and it's something that is definitely important if you are looking for your unique value proposition and trying to stand out, especially in a saturated marketplace. You must be the best at what you offer. You talked about pricing your offers, value-based pricing, something I teach my clients as well, and pricing something in accordance to the value, not to just be cheaper than your competitors. Again, your unique value proposition, that all ties in together. And then you talked about sourcing products, which I hope you guys were taking some notes. I was like, oh.
Those were actually industry secrets. So this was the first time that I talked about this.
Yes, I definitely peeped that. I was like, I've not heard that. Let me write that down. And then invest in your education is another one I think that is truly important, especially as an entrepreneur, not just for your business, but also for your own personal development. So thank you so much for sharing that. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Crystal.
You're welcome. All right, guys, it's time, because I'm sure you're wondering, who is this lady that has been hosting this workshop? It's me, Crystal Bernay. I'm hosting this amazing event, the Women Entrepreneurship Workshop, but I'm also a serial womanpreneur, speaker, international best-selling author, business coach, and brand strategist, and now I can say TV host of the show, The Brand Builder Blueprint, on Phoenix TV, sponsored by our very own She Rises Studios. I'm a co-author in 5 out of the 6 books in the Becoming an Unstoppable Woman book series. So that's the original Becoming an Unstoppable Woman, BAUW Entrepreneur, Finance, Health and Wellness, and Influencer. And I teach coaches and consultants and online service providers how to monetize their expertise, create multiple income streams so they can build a profitable and sustainable business. And at the time of this workshop, I have 4 businesses. And I got to say, you all ain't seen nothing yet. I truly believe that the sky's the limit. And I'm coming for everything that they said I couldn't have. Especially as a woman. And as a woman, I wholeheartedly believe it's not an option for us to go after what we want and what we desire, but it's a requirement for us to go after all that we want and all that we desire in life and in business and career, spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially. You can have it all. You don't have to choose. You don't have to sacrifice. I think that's really, really important. And one of the things I like to stress with my clients is the importance of paving the way for the next generation. I actually didn't have a lot of female mentors growing up, so I really strive to be that for other entrepreneurs growing up, whether they be male or female, but especially women. When I work with clients, I teach them how to build their coaching or consulting or online service provider business from the ground up. So that's how to determine your niche, your target market, creating $1 million branding, finding out what platforms, both social media and non-social, are most advantageous for you to market on. Also, how to message your offers to your target market, how to generate leads on autopilot, turn those leads into paying clients, and then just creating multiple income streams and setting your business up for profitability and sustainability. Yes, profit first, but sustainability over everything, because guys, the market is going to change. Things are going to be in season now or be a trend now, and not so much in the future. But what you want to remain strong and standing is your business. You want it to be able to weather the storm. So I think it's really important, and having multiple income streams is a way to do that. Just a little bit of background about me, because typically on a workshop like this, I would teach something, but I'm just going to share my story today. I've, been an entrepreneur actually since the age of 16. I started out with an eBay store, and I set that up online when eBay was first becoming a thing without my mom's permission. And as you can imagine, she was not thrilled. And I made $16,000 my very first month in business. Now, for those of you who are familiar with my story, you'll know that I come from a background of educators. And so that really wasn't allowed because I was supposed to get my education and then go to school and then eventually probably become a teacher as well myself. But my mom made me shut everything down. And of course, I went to college and I got a degree and did all those things, all the things that good little girls are supposed to do. I did. I also went out and tried to, do the whole husband thing. So I unfortunately married someone that was similar to my mom in that they're both narcissists. And so my entrepreneurial dreams got put on hold. I probably put off my entrepreneurial dreams at least 3 to 4 times before I actually did jump both feet in on my pole and sensual dance studio located here in Temple Hills, Maryland. I built my business anyway, in spite of what they were saying. So I had a full-time job and a full-time business, but I was unfortunately growing that business in secret because the studio was a point of tension in my marriage. So I never talked about it with my ex-husband. I didn't share anything with him. He didn't really come into the studio all that often. If I was having trouble, I just solved the problems on my own. And so, of course, these things fester in a marriage, and you have to make a decision. I had to make a decision. Either I was going to be an entrepreneur or I wasn't. Either I was going to make this thing work or I wasn't. So I went out and I decided to put myself in places and spaces where I could learn what I needed to learn in order to grow my business. So I started to go to conferences, I started to network, meet different mentors, and I divorced my husband. I started 3 more businesses, and that's where the coaching business came into fruition. And so now I'm just really passionate more than ever about teaching women entrepreneurs how to grow and build their business and create multiple income streams so that they can build a life that they desire. So if you're interested in learning more about me and how we can connect, you want to visit www.isimplyShe.com. I'm the founder and CEO of Simply She. Simply Slay Hard Every Day. That's my business coaching, consulting, and brand strategy firm. So that's www.isimplyShe.com. I'm on Instagram at I_simply_she, Facebook at isimplyShe, and then LinkedIn, you can find me at Crystal Vernay. But thank you guys. So if you have questions for me, you can just go ahead and drop those in the chat, and I'm definitely going to be, I'm looking at stuff. I'm on the Facebook Live, and I'm also being the host here, but let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like to connect. But let me know, guys, are you guys having fun so far? Are you guys enjoying everything? Give me a 2 in the chat this time, a 2 if you're enjoying all the speakers that you've seen, you've learned something new. You're going to make some new connections here after the Women Entrepreneur Workshop. Awesome. So Michelle says 2. Yes. Love to see it. What else we got? 2. Kyla says 2. She does all the 2s. Awesome. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and move forward. Our next speaker coming to the stage is Elisa Fucci. Her topic is how to stay connected in your marriage while building an empire, even when your spouse doesn't support you or your dreams. So Elisa Fucci is a relationship life coach and energy healer. Through coaching and breath work, Elisa helps women let go of limiting beliefs, negative thought patterns, emotional baggage, and finally be happy in their current marriage without waiting for their husband or circumstances to change. Elisa became certified as a life coach in 2021 through the Life Coaching School. She has become an international bestselling author with her new book, Unleash Her. She hosts a podcast to empower Latina women to create the life they desire, calling Living La Vida a Full. She has created events and workshops to teach women to tap into their inner wisdom, find their voice, learn to process their emotions, and how to drop expectations and start enjoying their relationships today. Welcome, Lisa.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Crystal, and you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you so much. The stage is yours.
Thank you. I feel like it was perfect. Like she just went on, she started talking about her relationship, and it just leads perfectly into what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Because I want to picture that you already know how to be successful. I want to believe that you already know how to make money. You already believe in your business. You already have your business established and you are good to go. And if not, all these amazing other women have taught you how. I want to talk to the women that already believe and have a business set up, but feel like they keep sabotaging their relationships, or the women that knows how to have make money and be and sustain that in their businesses, but they don't feel connected in their relationships. As I was figuring out how to come up with this talk, a question came up for me, and I'm going to ask you this question. Are you putting as much effort as you're putting in your relationship as you're putting in that you put in your business? Are you investing time and energy in your relationships as you are to your business? And if you're feeling guilty, if you're feeling like shame and resentment and regret right now, good. That's my job as a coach, is to trigger you, to activate you, to bring those emotions to the surface so you can do something about it. So you can look at the beliefs behind it. So you can decide what you want to do with them. Don't push them back down. Stay with me. Keep those there. I know they're uncomfortable, okay? But I want you to just stay focused, okay? Because I know it's so easy for us entrepreneurs to just get so caught up in our business, in the things that we can control, right? And we just focus on that. And the moment there's problems in our relationships, we tend to leave those to the side because we can't control the other person, right? No matter how hard we try. So we tend to neglect the relationships because we feel like it's out of our control. It's too much work. Business, yes, we got it. We can handle it. So something that has helped me and that I coach my clients with is to do daily check-ins. Do you do check-ins? Like, do you check in with your spouse? Do you check in with your children? And I'm going to teach you a little trick to remember how to check in. It's called a 5-finger check-in. And I promise you won't forget, okay? The first one is there's just 5 questions that you get to ask just to establish a conversation, to get to know each other. And it also is a great way for you to get how you feel out, how you get your emotions out, just start connecting and conversing. The first one is, how are you feeling emotionally? Are you okay? How are you feeling today? I'm drained. Oh, I'm not, I feel off today. I don't feel myself. Okay. The next one, which should be the number one, and is, how are you feeling spiritually? And a good indicator, like, are you feeling connected with God, with source? How are you feeling? Do you feel like you need to take some time to meditate, to pray more, to connect with yourself? Like, what is it that what's going on? The next one, and I'm going to warn you, I am not flipping you off, okay? So don't get mad at me. But how are you feeling sexually? The best way to connect is through intimacy. And intimacy, a great way to be intimate is sexually. So talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about how you want it, what you want, how often, talk about it, okay? So how are you feeling sexually? The next one, it's your ring finger. So how are you feeling in the relationship? Do you feel connected? Do you feel like we are a team? Do you feel like we are worlds apart? Like, how are you feeling? This is a great opportunity to get your feelings out, to hear the other person and hear what they're going through. The last one, which is the one we neglect the most, but should be very important to check in with, is, how are you feeling physically? We, as entrepreneurs, neglect to check in with our bodies. We tend to be go, go, go and be in the masculine energy and forget to check in with our bodies and just relax, go in with our emotions, check how are our emotions right now. Okay, right now I'm feeling overwhelmed, right? Today I feel burnt out. It gives you an opportunity to speak your emotions, to speak your mind. And also you get to hear what the other person's going through. Well, how are they feeling in the relationship? How are they feeling emotionally? Trust me, if you're thinking that your husband doesn't know how to say any other words than yes, no, good, and bad, this will work. Just keep at it, because it will work. I thought that was my husband. I thought my husband was like, this is going to be boring. He's going to hate me for this. But it lended to like really finding new things about him that I didn't know before. And we've been together for 20 years. So this is a great way to get to know each other and connect. With your kids, you might not want to ask, how are you feeling sexually, unless they're old enough, okay? But you can change this question to something that, how are you feeling at school? How are you feeling with your friends? Personalize it so you can get to know them better. The next topic that I want to talk about on how to connect in your relationships while you're building your empire, because I already know how you know how to do that, is I want you to look at your boundaries. And a good way to see where those boundaries are and whether you have any or whether you're not honoring them is look at your relationships. Where are you feeling resentment? Where are you feeling resentment? Where are you feeling anger, frustration? Where are you feeling victimized? Again, if any of this come up, good. This is an indicator that you are not following through on your word, that you are not following through on what you want. You're not giving yourself what you want. A boundary really is a way to create a bubble around you, a way to tell people how to be in a relationship with you. Boundaries are not a way to control others, because again, we cannot control other people. If you have found a way to do it, please tell me. We can't even control our little toddlers. What makes us think we can control adult people? It's impossible. So knowing that we can't control others, the boundaries are set so we can control our own environment. It puts us in control. It puts us in the driver's seat. It is a way for us to say, this is what I'm capable of. This is what I can do. This is what I want to do. This is what I don't want to do. This is as far as I am going to go. And then if you choose to break this boundary, if something happens where the boundaries cross, then I will do this. A good way to set up a boundary is always, first of all, start with a clear mind and in a neutral place. And it's, if this happens, I will do this. That always puts you in control of the situation. And it also lets the other person be in control of their own actions. It is a beautiful way to be in a relationship because we allow them to be themselves while we are being ourselves and true to what we want. Boundaries, when we are entrepreneurs, are so hard to just slowly forget because we're so focused on our business. But I want you to know that part of building your business is having healthy boundaries, is giving yourself what you want and honoring what you don't want. Because learning to do that will empower you to have a more successful business. And it also teaches the other person what their role is in the relationship. You're telling them, this is my role. This is as far as I want to go. And it is a good way to service the other person and service yourself. Boundaries are a way of showing love for yourself and for them. So it is a great way to connect with each other. I love setting up boundaries because it's honoring myself. And when I honor myself, I can honor the other person by giving them the freedom and agency to do what they want when they're around me. I will do what I want. I can step away as soon as you're done. Setting up healthy boundaries in our business is important, because when we are entrepreneurs, we tend to be in this all masculine go, go, go energy. And if we don't have set times, set places, like a limit on what our workplace is going to look like, what our workday is going to look like, we tend to just close the computer and go into mom and wife mode, but forget that we need to shift our energy. We forget that we just crossed our boundary, where now we are no longer the CEOs. We are no longer bossing people around. We need to shift energy. A good way to shift energies from masculine go, go, go to more in the flow, more loving, kind, and fun and creative is to maybe go on a walk, be around nature, like go sunbathing, like just for a few minutes, dance, sing, listen to a joke. All those things will help you shift from the masculine to the feminine energy, so you can go and stay within your boundaries as well. The next thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to make sure that I'm staying on track, but is to stay. Are you being physical? Are you being physical? Do you forget to hug, touch, and kiss your spouse, your children? The skin is the largest organ in the body, and it has receptors that send good and bad signals every time someone touches us. And I know that when you're stressed and overwhelmed, the last thing you want is to be touched. But trust me, there's studies that show the moment someone hugs you or touches you or kisses you, your body sends a signal and releases a hormone called oxytocin that makes you relax and feel good, and it connects you to the person you're hugging, you're kissing, you're touching. So before I close, I want to remind you to honor yourself by having boundaries. If you don't have boundaries, if you're feeling resentment, anger, and frustration, know that that's a place where you're not giving yourself what you want. You're good at giving people what they want in your business, but it's time that you give yourself what you want, because by honoring yourself, you're having a healthier relationship. You're building ways to connect. Check in with your spouse, check in with your children. Find ways to connect, to feel, to touch, and be physical. Because remember that all the emotions that we hold in, the resentment, the anger, the frustration, all those emotions, if held in, can be toxic in our bodies. And eventually it will manifest in our physical body. And no matter how successful you are, no matter how many millions you make, if you cannot take care of yourself, if you cannot take care of your mind, body, and spirit, you won't be able to enjoy the success. So please take care of yourself and take care of your emotions, take care of your relationships, so then you can so you can enjoy your business. If you want to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram at Elisa Fucci Coaching, and I'll be glad to talk to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Elisa. So much
You're
wisdom
welcome.
shared, guys. I wish I had known you before I got into my relationship. P.S. Just saying. But I think what you said there toward the end really resonated with me, in that if you don't take care of yourself, and holding the emotions in and that being toxic and it manifesting physically, that actually happened to me. So I 100% know exactly what you're talking about, and definitely make sure, I hope you guys are taking notes and you really do connect with Elisa, because I feel like, especially as women and us being emotional, we're more susceptible to that, and then also not saying anything about it. So thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to be moving on. We are wrapping things up here. Our next speaker is Kyla Bitterman. Her topic, the entrepreneurial ecosystem, building a strong business with yourself as part of your business ecosystem. Kyla Bitterman was born and raised in Fredericksburg, Texas, leaving in 2012 to join the United States Navy. She served 8 years as a cryptologic technician, including one deployment on the USS Nimitz. After becoming a single mother in 2020, she realized the attitudes and culture surrounding single motherhood needed to change, starting with her own. This began a long journey of self development and education in pursuit of finding answers and healing. Kyla is a full time mother, employee, and college student, an international best selling author in Shattering the Stigma of Single Motherhood, founder of Legacy Women Affiliates LLC. She's a She Rises Studio Collective member and will be featured in the upcoming book, Me Too, But Never Again, Part 2. Her motto in life is always learning, always growing, always changing. In her free time, she enjoys playing video games, swimming, going to museums, staying active, shopping, and staying healthy physically, mentally, and spiritually. Welcome, Kyla.
Hi, thank you so much, Crystal. You've done such a great job today, and we're so thankful for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and thank you for your service. The floor is yours.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. So I wanted to talk to you about the entrepreneurial ecosystem. I wanted to share a little bit of experiences I had that don't really have to do with business, but I'm going to tie it all in. So just bear with me and let's get started. Okay, so when I was in the Navy in about 2015, I went to a command training. And this month, we actually learned about the California Wolf Center. So it was very not normal, and I didn't really know what to expect. But we learned that by them losing wolves in their ecosystem, it not only affected just one part, maybe like prey and like what they ate or who ate them or anything like that. It affected the organisms, all organisms, the plants, the animals, the soil. And so we learned what a keystone species was, and the gray wolf is a keystone species in that environment, in that ecosystem. And so I guess I'll read the what it oh my goodness, I can't talk. Okay, I'll read you guys the definition. So it's an animal that helps hold the ecosystem together. They affect abundance, diversity, and the behaviors. And it's a chain reaction when they go extinct or something happens to them. So I wanted to give you guys a couple cute examples of animals and other organisms that are keystone species. And then I'm going to talk about how that has to do with business. So bats, red mangrove trees, sugar maple trees, woodpeckers, Pacific salmon, hummingbirds, starfish, caribou, elephants, and humans. We are keystone species. So what that means is that we affect the abundance and the diversity and the behavior of our ecosystems. And we're going to have personal ecosystems, family ecosystems, business and social environmental ecosystems as well. So I want to talk about the 6 areas or the 6 organisms in your personal ecosystem that I think you should really pay attention to, and it's going to really help build you personally. And then when you're good in those areas and you've developed those areas, it's going to bleed into your business life, and hopefully it's going to be a good one. So the 6 areas are physical, so your cleanliness, your organization, location, where do you live, where's your business, and your personal interactions, so meeting people when you're networking and creating your business and growing. Emotional, so that's awareness of distinctness and protection from being hurt and not allowing people to manipulate you. And those are things that you need to learn. If nobody teaches you that as a child, you're not going to grow up learning those things. So you'll see constant chaoses come up in your life, and it's because of emotional boundaries that you probably didn't learn correctly growing up. And you definitely don't want to take that into business with you. Okay, so financial, spiritual, time, and intellectual. We always want to continue learning. I don't think I need to explain why financial and time is important, but one thing with time is having schedules, and a couple of us have talked about that, having schedules, routines, what are your priorities, blocking off time, etc. And then intellectual is just learning, always becoming more wise, and that helps you make better decisions in your business life. So translating all of it into business, when you're starting and growing a business, what kind of ecosystem do you personally have that you're bringing into that business? Which areas might need a little bit more attention because they all need to be developed. What kind of personal ecosystem are you bringing in? How is the keystone species yourself in those environments? So if you're in one of those areas is not as developed as it should be, it's going to bleed through into the other areas, the other organisms, just like the keystone species. If you don't have everything correct, it's not gonna, like I said, little chaoses are gonna come up. Bills are not gonna get paid, or if it's financial or time, you're not having time for yourself, you're not doing self-love, etc. So when you define and develop these 6 areas, what you're really doing is you're really creating an individual, who you are, what do you like to do? And I think all of that is very important before you go into business. What is important to you? What is your why? And when you have your why, it's a lot easier to keep going when you have storms and natural disasters popping up in your ecosystem. I know personally for me, I definitely have tried many businesses and failed many businesses. And personally for me, I never really had my why. It was really hard. And all of that I didn't understand because I had never developed myself personally. I didn't find out who Kyla was. I was in a world of everybody telling me things and me kind of like going with it. So once I really defined and developed myself, first of all, it helped my mental health so much. And that's really what I work on to help my mental health, especially things that I experienced in the military. So that, and then it's helped me in my business life as well, creating my business, Legacy Women Affiliates, and deciding who I am and what I do. And that's something that we work on very, very hard in the collective. We're always saying who I am, what do I do, and really defining that. And it's not as easy as it sounds. Definitely is not, especially, we know, we know. But yeah, so my message today is, like I said, when you're having storms and you're having natural disasters and you have to start digging deep to really get yourself through these times, what kind of ecosystem are you digging into? And how is your keystone species? How are you doing? And that's my message.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kyla. That was amazing. And I think for me, like what resonated the most was the ecosystem part of things, because I tell my clients all the time, your business is one big ecosystem. And I'm looking at it from like the marketing and sustainability perspective. But I think the keystone species concept is definitely key. And I'm definitely going to be looking that up because I feel like that's like the foundation or the root for your business, right? For the ecosystem.
Yes.
So awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. That was our last speaker. And sadly, we are at the end of the Women Entrepreneurship Workshop, but this is not the end. It is literally just the beginning. And I hope that you have gained clarity in your business, new ideas. You've gotten additional knowledge and resources that you can pour back into your business, whether you're a new entrepreneur or you're seasoned. I know that you've gotten tremendous value from today's amazing speakers. I just want to really quickly thank all the speakers. Thank you to Denise Oster. Thank you to Annabelle Beckwith, Yana Yaneva, Heather Stokes-Benton, Michelle Meza, Lauren Weiss, Martina Kwan, Elisa Fucci, and Kyla Bitterman. Thank you so much. And thank you to She Rises Studios, Hannah Olivas and Adriana, Carlos and Ron for doing the tech in the background. Thank you so much for making this event possible, making everything happen. But thank you to the speakers for taking the time to be here today, your wisdom, and for pouring into all of the attendees. So whether this is your first workshop or you faithfully attend She Rises Studio events, be sure to follow She Rises Studios on social media, like and subscribe. Be a part of the She Rises Studios community. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Visit www.sherisesstudios.com to connect and to follow, to share, and to join the community. Super important. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, all the places. Make sure you guys connect there. That's all we have for today, guys. And I'm your host, Crystal Renee. But take care, and I hope to see you at the next one.